After very heavy investment years comes the time when very little money is actually spent on the park, and that's the nature of business. That's just how it works. So, a few cheaper rides are on the cards, plus Farmington has this lovely little lake that's just been sat untouched until now. Hello you guys, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2, welcome back to Farmington Fields. As always, thank you so much for coming along for the ride, I really do appreciate it. If you are new here, welcome aboard. Guys, I need to ask you something because YouTube keeps pulling the rug on my videos. Before we do anything, can you please like, comment and subscribe? I don't often ask so early and I need your help on this one, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is what we did then, in the last episode. It's a sci-fi thing. In fact, we've had a very big couple of episodes. There you go, there's our two sci-fi things. And in the grander scheme of things, we're turning a farm into a theme park. It's a slightly quicker episode for you this week because we've all earned a break. So, waiting very, very patiently since I think episode 2, maybe 3, has been this little cable car system. I've always wanted there to be some sort of transport thing going on, and it's now time to start developing the lake. Now, in order to do that, we need to start getting guests quickly to the back. So, we've got ourselves a nice little transport system. It's, as I said, been in since episode maybe 2 or 3. I've just done some tidying up with it because as I've been building the park around the potential placement of this, the supports no longer work. For example, the original supports were going to go through this gift shop and stuff. So I've come along and I've tidied it up and it runs in a complete straight line right across the park. You're going to get some awesome views of everything around it. And when we come to redevelop this area, you're going to get some awesome views, I can promise you now. And then, of course, we come through the lift hill of our... I'm guessing it's going to be a mega light, right? It's not quite a hyper. And it goes through the support. That was always planned. It was always there. And it's going to go across the lake and then off to the back here. So, I want to do something with the lake because we've been teasing this for quite some time. We've got a path that sort of goes to nowhere here. We've got a path that goes to nowhere here. And we just stopped doing stuff here. So I want to achieve 3 things this episode. First off, I want to do something with the lake and make it all make sense. And of course, put the station buildings and stuff in for the cable cars and make it work. Secondly, I want to do something with this little island. It's ripe for a ride. And I'm thinking this would be a central focal piece of the park. So we could bring back the Ferris wheel, which I know is still over there. I'd use the original one, but we could put the Ferris wheel there. It kind of makes sense. We could even use the big boy Ferris wheel. That one quite happily would sit in that kind of space. Or we could use the Skywatcher, which is that one. I'm favouring at the moment Skywatcher because it's more dominant on the skyline. However, the bigger where's it gone? The bigger Ferris wheels actually sit more subtly on the skyline. So I'm going to need to play it out because that fits quite nicely on the island with what I'm thinking. So anyway, that's the second thing I want to achieve. The third thing is I want to achieve more guests in this area here, and especially now that the cable cars are in. And that lends itself quite nicely to a thrill ride in this area, and one that I've been putting off for quite some time, and that's the Insanity. And I think the Insanity is going to sit quite nicely in this sort of area here, where we've currently got picnic benches and stuff. It's a bit of a dead-end area anyway, so if I just place this down for a sec, that's the sort of location that I think it would sit. And then the queue line can come around here, and then it can wrap around where the extra path is going to be here. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I want to achieve in this episode. Let me go and just do some stuff, and I'll be right back. I'll see you in a minute. Right, so we've got a lot going on in this episode. There's 3 separate projects that we're going to need to talk about. So I think whilst I've just made this make sense a little bit, it's probably time to talk you through it before I just jump to it all being done. This is the entrance area cable car station. It's going to be themed around like the Alpine stuff. In fact, I need to fit it in with the general vibe of the station here. I've put this here, by the way, because I wanted this area to have movement and I wanted it to feel like there was some stuff going on on in it. Because look, it's a really dead area. I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from Park Asterisk, which I genuinely cannot say. And I want to redo the area slightly. And their area around their carousel, or around a carousel that they have, is actually pretty decent. So anyway, that's the first station. Coming over then to our flat ride here. I've put the queue line in. A couple of trees needed to go. I'm going to put some other trees back in, replant some stuff along here and whatever. But this is the queue line for the Insanity ride. Nothing special, nothing particularly taxing. Just need to put fences and stuff up here. But you will see I'm starting now to get a feel for how the path is going to go around the lake. So this, of course, is going to need to be some kind of raised pier or some kind of boardwalk or something, because I just don't have the space, and I don't want to change the land. I actually want to work with what I've got, hence the reason why the trees and stuff are still here. In fact, I've been doing that the entire series, working with the stuff that you've already got in place. So, yeah, the boardwalks are going to come around this way, and it's then going to meet up with the path that we put in with the Screaming Swing episode that's here. So it's going to meet up with the path here, and then of course it's going to continue around. I have decided on the Skywatcher. It came down to a decision on whether I wanted the view to be of the lake and the surrounding area or of the entire park. And actually, when you look at the park from the top up here, it actually makes sense for it to be the entire park. So put the Skywatcher in, and I've just given it a little bit of a queue. I want it to be angled queues. And straight angled queues. I don't want it to be curved queues. I need to do something with this. But again, I have started the process of the boardwalk. I'm not sold on it coming through here because I kind of want to force the game to use the paths that I'm doing. But I think they're going to do that naturally, so we shall see. But with this station I've got here, then I've actually got a split level. I've got, of course, the tier that contains the station. I've then got a sort of like a middle tier here where I'm going to be able to put steps and stuff in, and then I've got a lower tier down here. And I want to do something in this space with the lake itself, right? And I want it to be a little bit like Park Asterisk in the sense that they've got areas down really close to the water. I want to completely break the idea of any health and safety whatsoever. And so I'm thinking I'm going to be able to do these like little steps down like this into the, not into the water as such, but into that kind of vibe, where it just becomes a really nice place just to have maybe some lunch or have something to eat or just to chill out, you know, something just to watch the lake go by a little bit. So I'm going to be able to make this area a tiered area. So we're actually going to have 3 tiers. As I said, the station level, this little plaza level just specifically for the cable cars, and then you've got this bit down here. And I'm going to continue that theme right across here. I do think there's going to be some extra rides that need to come into these sort of spaces, but I think that's for a future episode. I think I need to get the lay of the lake before I do anything else. So with that in mind, I've got some work to do. I'll see you in a minute. Well, look at this. I'll be totally honest. I didn't want to do this episode. I just had no inspiration to do it. I didn't think the game was going to like it. I didn't think it was going to be worth doing. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it any kind of justice. Oh, how wrong I was. I am so happy with this. The game just surprises you in so many different ways. Like, they are using the cable cars, and I didn't think they were going to, because there's nothing back here. Like, even when you think of how the algorithm would work to decide whether they were going to use them or not, it's still quicker for the guest to get the train and walk here than it is to get the cable cars and actually ride the cable cars, because it takes in the length of the ride as well, and then walk back. So I honestly didn't think they were going to use it, but they are. And I think when we start putting in the additional periphery rides, I think that's also going to have an effect as well. So that's the first one. The second question is, did adding the ride next to the Intamin also work? Well, actually, yes, there's definitely more movement in this area. That was always going to be the case. That was always planned. I mean, you've got, was it 64 people that can be on this ride at any one time? I think it's 64. Go for 64, whatever. I think it's 32 aside. Yeah, so of course that was always going to be the case, but I didn't realise it was going to be like this. And it now feels a little bit more realistic because it's a bit more crushed. It's kind of these are the kind of decisions that would have been made by the park when they were starting to run out of space. You know, what can they squeeze in where? So think of Toxicator at Alton Towers, prime example of that. They didn't want to put it just in the same place that Ribsaw was, but they wanted it somewhere, so they stuck it on a plinth and called it the world's highest concrete plinth, because that's apparently what Merlin does now. World records for the highest plinth. Well done, guys. So anyway, let's have a look at the actual setup of this, because I like it. I've used the same fencing technique and stuff as the Intamin. However, I have dragged across the other fence. Now, you may be confused as to why I've used the internal fence for the external part of the queue. That this actually fits better than the normal external part of the queue. And what do I mean by external part of the queue? Well, this is the usual setup, right, where that fence is used in the middle as the internal part of the queue, and then this fence is used on the external, and that's what I've used throughout the park. But I'm kind of breaking with tradition because I'm a bloody renegade. And I've gone rogue. But I like it, and I also like how the queue interacts with this little boardwalk here as well, and with all of the growth and the grass and stuff, you know, like the actual water grass, as if it's coming up the other side of the boardwalk. I really like it. What you don't see very much is that it's actually suspended all the way across, and it's the grass that makes it look like it's got some kind of perimeter to it. So yeah, I'm happy with it. And then of course I've just put in, I think we've got, hang on, have we got the end of day thing? Because I can't, yes we do, there we go. Yeah, so I've also just put in some growth and extra fences along here, and then we are called done. I did want a little bit of colour in this. I didn't want it just to be grasses, so that's why you've got the yellow and the blue in there as well, just to break it up a little bit. But otherwise, this is pretty much all this ride would be. I don't think it would need to be necessarily themed. I don't think it would have any kind of decor. I'm kind of thinking Submission at Alton Towers. That was such a great ride, but it was also such an awful ride. It was such a visual ride, but it was an awful ride. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm going for there, is a little bit of vibe of Submission. And then of course we've got over here the tower, the Skywatcher. There it is. Perfect choice, exactly the right choice to have made. Now it's actually in, and now you're having a look at the lake from this point of view, and then you've got the view up to the tower, and then of course the view from the tower. I think if I actually can I just do the view from the tower? One sec. Was it guest? There's the cabin. Oh, the cabin view will do, won't it? There you go. So that's the kind of view that you get from the tower. Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely the right choice to have made on that one. So, well done, guys. Good decision. And then this is what I did with the queue line. Nice and simple. I wanted the fence because I did want it to feel like there was a bit of a terrain drop. There isn't a terrain drop, not immediately, but I did want it to feel like there was, and the wall made it look as if that was the case. So yeah, I'm glad I took that decision. And then of course I've just used the brick just to keep it consistent. A little cattle pen on this one because the queue does actually get quite long sometimes. We're in a bit of a lull with guests at the moment, but when the peak comes through, the queue does get quite long, so it's going to need it. And this bit here is just a picnic area. Always wanted this bit to be a picnic area, just to sit beside the lake and just look out to the beauty of the lake. And the coaster that's going to come in this area as well, I think, is going to really like top off the sightline quite nicely. So I'm happy with that. And then the grasses along here are just either side, and then I've put the laurel bush in here, and I have just made it apparent that it's very different heights on this one. I didn't want to have it uniform like I've done with all of the others, as if it's kept. This would be more rogue and more wild, if you like. And then I just put loads of lily pads around as well, because I think the actual lake itself needed something. I did try my hand at doing some of the fountains, the water fountains. They didn't feel right because you can't get the right sizes, and I don't think you can. Do you know, I didn't try to resize them actually. I might do that for the next episode actually. So yeah. And then we've got the cable car station. Love the cable car station. It is sitting perfectly how I wanted this to be. And there's the 3-tier thing that I was three-tier thing that I was talking about. There's the lower tier, there's the middle tier. Actually it's 4 tiers. Did I say 3 in the Have I just messed up my own episode? I think I have. Oh well, never mind. 4 tiers. We'll say it's 4 tiers. It's like a wedding cake that's grown a tier. You've got the bottom tier here. You've got this tier here. You've got this tier here, and then you have the top tier, which is where the actual station is. And I just like that it gives this area a little bit of height variation. Now that we can do proper varying paths, I think this is probably going to be for the best. Then toilets, cha-cha toilets have appeared. I don't know if this was in the previous update. I don't think it was, but the area definitely needed toilets, and actually I put them in to see whether there was a reason now for guests to use it. Like, would they take the cable cars to get to the toilets? The answer is yes. Yes, they do. But yeah, it's done, and I'm happy with that one. And then if I come down this way to the main station, it is a carbon copy of the station, so the actual station building is the same. I didn't really have much joy with making it feel like the entrance. What I was doing was actually just rebuilding the station, so I was like, I might as well just copy and paste it and be done with it. Put in the queue line, and then happy days. And guys, there's one bonus thing, by the way. I completely forgot to show this off to you at the last episode, and I actually also intended to open the episode with it, but hey, it's fine. Save the best till last, because this was in the last episode. I just completely forgot to show you. This is the exit of the flying coaster. So it comes out into an arcade, just like Oblivion's does, or did. I think it's still an arcade. So just like Oblivion's does. And then there's also the small gift shop in here with the ride photos, and it's all kitted out as if it's a sci-fi building and stuff. So it's like, yeah, as if it's the space station and whatever. So I just wanted to show you that because I completely forgot to show you from the inside. And of course, night lighting is also done as well. So once the ray tracing and stuff kicks in, there we go, and it settles down. That's what it looks like at night, and it just has this really, really lovely glow to it. In fact, Planet Coaster's lighting, or Planet Coaster 2's lighting, is really, really good for this. So it has a glow to it. It's everything that I thought it was going to look like. And this bit here, I love it. Like, I even love it when it's empty, because it just gives a very liminal space feeling to it, you know, when it's supposed to be busy and it's not. You can just feel how it's going to be at night. So I love it, absolutely love it. Right, let's just put the time back, because it is that time of the episode. Guys, thank you so much for getting to the end of this one. I really do appreciate it. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let's stop these videos being buried by YouTube and prove them wrong, because they keep gaslighting me into telling me that my stuff is not good enough, despite the fact that I have objectively better statistics than other channels of a similar nature that I have seen, and they keep telling me it's my fault, and it's not. So I am fighting YouTube at the moment, and to be honest with you, I'm close to giving up. So there you go. I'll see you for the next one. Have a good one, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.